8-year-old homeless child's chance encounter with childless millionaire couple. Oliver Richardson, 8 years old, was hiding in a cardboard box behind Seattle's Pike Place Market, his trembling body seeking warmth. His mother had died from a drug overdose 2 years ago, and his father had never existed. He had escaped from social services, finding the streets safer than the foster home. He survived on breadcrumbs stolen from markets and leftover food given by sympathetic waiters. "I'm cold," Oliver murmured, curling up like a ball inside the cardboard box. November's cold night was freezing his small body. 10 blocks away, in the penthouse, Victoria and David Sterling, 42 and 45 years old, were one of Seattle's wealthiest couples. David, owner of Sterling Pharmaceuticals, and Victoria, an art gallery owner, had been married for 15 years. "What did the doctor say?" Victoria asked the night David returned from the clinic. "Same thing. I'm sterile, and you are too." IVF didn't work. Third failure. Victoria began to cry. "Maybe I'm not meant to be a mother." "Vic, what if we reconsider adoption?" "No, I want my own child." Sitting in their penthouse, they didn't know that thousands of children like Oliver needed them. The next morning, Victoria was driving her Mercedes through downtown to her art gallery. Stopped at a red light, she noticed a small child searching through a trash can on the corner. Oliver was rummaging through garbage cans for yesterday's leftover hamburger. He wore a torn children's jacket and oversized tennis shoes. Victoria saw Oliver's eyes, big, green, but with too much lived pain in them. The traffic turned green, but Victoria couldn't move. Cars behind began honking. "Lady driver, the road is clear," someone shouted. Victoria pulled the car to the side. Victoria got out of the Mercedes and slowly approached Oliver. "Hello, little man." Oliver was scared and prepared to run. "Are you hungry?" Oliver was cautious, but hunger was stronger. He nodded. Victoria took him to a nearby cafe. Oliver had never been in such a luxurious place. "What's your name?" Victoria asked. "Oliver," the child said softly. "I'm Victoria. Where do you live, Oliver?" "On the streets." Victoria's heart tightened. Victoria learned about Oliver's mother. "My mom got sick. Doctors couldn't cure her. Then she died." "Your father?" "I don't know. Mom never talked about that man." "Where do you live now?" "In my cardboard box. It's very warm." When Victoria learned that this 8-year-old child lived on the streets with no one to care for him, she was devastated. "Oliver, would you like to come with me? I have a warm house." Oliver hesitated. He had learned not to trust adults. Victoria took Oliver to the penthouse. The child had never seen such luxury in his life. "Is this your house?" "Yes, and today it's your house too." When Oliver saw the bathroom, he was amazed. "Can I take a bath here?" Victoria gave him clean clothes and warm food. For the first time, Oliver felt safe. When David came home, he saw the small child sleeping in the living room. "Victoria, who is this child?" "His name is Oliver. He lives on the streets. He's 8 years old." David was shocked. "Victoria, you're being crazy. You can't bring this child to our home." "Why? He'll freeze on the street." "Because this could be kidnapping. He has family. Social services must be looking for him." "David, this child is homeless. No one is looking for him." "How do you know?" "It's obvious from his eyes. I recognize that pain of abandonment." David remembered that Victoria had also been adopted as a child. Victoria had spent her childhood years in an orphanage and was adopted by the Sterling family at age 12. Oliver slept in the guest room of the penthouse that night. For the first time in his life, he would sleep in a real bed. "Vic," David said before going to bed, "what are we going to do with this child?" "I don't know, but I'm not sending him back to the street." "We should call social services." "No, they'll take him into custody, send him to a foster home." "He's already escaped from that home." "So what do you suggest?" "Let's adopt him." David held his breath. In the following days, Oliver began getting used to the Sterling couple. Victoria taught him to read and write. David shared medical knowledge. "Oliver, have you been to school before?" Victoria asked. "No, Mom taught me a little, but—" Victoria hired a private teacher for Oliver. The child was very smart and learned quickly. "This child is gifted," said teacher Ms. Johnson. "He just hasn't been given opportunities." As weeks passed, Oliver began bonding with Victoria. Victoria, are you my mom? He asked one day. Victoria's eyes filled with tears. I can be if you want. Is David my dad? He can be too if he wants. For the first time, he felt someone wanted him. David had initially kept his distance, but Oliver's intelligence and cheerfulness affected him too. A month later, social services found Oliver. This child is registered in the system. If you adopt him, there are legal procedures. What's required? David asked. Home inspection, financial assessment, psychological tests. No problem, we'll do everything. But the system was slow. Getting Oliver's official custody could take months. During this time, Oliver was under temporary protection with the Sterling family. Victoria enrolled Oliver in Seattle's best private school. On his first day taking him to school, Oliver was excited but also scared. What if they don't like me? They will. You're a wonderful child. The other children at school didn't know Oliver's background. He was introduced only as the Sterling family's child. Davis saw that Oliver adapted quickly. 3 months later, when Oliver hugged Victoria, he said, "Victoria, I love you." Victoria began to cry. "I love you too, Oliver. Like my real mom? More. Because I chose you." When David heard this conversation, he felt the change in his own heart. This child was now truly his son. That night, David said, "I love you too, son," to Oliver. This was the first time Oliver had been called son. Victoria realized that by mothering Oliver, she filled her own emptiness. David, I am this child's real mother. I didn't give birth to him, but I felt him with every cell. When Oliver got sick, Victoria would watch over him all night. She helped with his homework and comforted him when he was scared.
"You're the best mom," Oliver said.
"Because you took me because you wanted me." While David initially struggled with the fatherly role, Oliver's curiosity and intelligence impressed him. "Papa David, why do people get sick?" David began explaining simple medical information to Oliver. The child was very interested. "Can I become a doctor too?" "Of course, you can be anything you want." Listening to Oliver's future dreams, David felt how much of a father he had become. 6 months later, the legal procedures were completed. Mr. and Mrs. Sterling, Oliver Richardson is now Oliver Sterling. Congratulations, you are now legally parents. Oliver's name had officially changed. Oliver Richardson Sterling. "Are we a real family now?" Oliver asked. "You were always our real family," Victoria said. That day they framed the adoption certificate and hung it in Oliver's room. A year later, Oliver was a completely different child, well-nourished, well-educated, and much loved. He was the most successful student in his class.
His teachers were amazed at how quickly he developed. "Oliver, you are a very special child," said his teacher, Mrs. Davis. "I know," Oliver said, "because my mom and dad make me feel that way." Psychologist Dr. Martinez had regular sessions with Oliver.
"Oliver, do you remember the days when you lived on the street?" "Yes, but I'm not scared anymore." "Why?" "Because Victoria and David protect me. They're my real family." Dr. Martinez saw that Oliver had overcome the trauma and formed secure attachment. Oliver began learning the Sterling family's values. "Dad, why are some people poor?" "Often bad luck, Oliver. Lucky ones like us should help." David and Victoria taught Oliver charity. Together they volunteered at the homeless shelter. "I was on the street too," Oliver would tell other children. "But now I have a family." Oliver's first official birthday with the Sterling family, age 9. Friends from school and teachers came. "Make a wish and blow out the candles," Victoria said. Oliver closed his eyes and thought. Then he blew out the candles. "What did you wish for?" David asked. "I wished we would always stay together," Oliver said. Victoria and David began to cry. When Oliver turned 10, the school suggested a gifted children's program. "Oliver is 3 to 4 years ahead of his age level," said Principal Mr. Thompson. "Is this good?" Oliver asked. "Very good," Victoria said. "You're very smart." "So I'm not a normal child?" David laughed. "You're much better than normal." 2 years later, they took an official family photo. The photographer said, "What a beautiful family." Oliver smiled. "I chose this family." "You didn't choose," Victoria said. "We chose you." "No," Oliver said. "I made Victoria get out of the car and help me. I had a voice inside. I chose this family." When Oliver started high school at 14, he was valedictorian. "I'm going to be a doctor," he told David. But a pediatrician. Why a pediatrician? Because I want to help children like me that no one cares for. David watched his son with pride. When Oliver took university exams at 16, he won a full scholarship. Harvard University School of Medicine. Victoria shouted as she opened the letter. Really? Oliver couldn't believe it. Of course, you're a genius, David said. They celebrated that evening. Oliver had transformed from that little street child to a Harvard student. Oliver Sterling graduated from Harvard Medical School at 22. Victoria and David were in the audience, applauding through tears. Dr. Oliver Sterling, the dean announced. As Oliver received his diploma, he thought of his 8-year-old self, that freezing cold night when Victoria first extended her hand to him. In his graduation speech, he said, 10 years ago, I was a street child. Today, I'm a doctor, because 2 wonderful people made me family. Oliver Sterling, now 32, worked as a pediatrician at Seattle Children's Hospital. Victoria and David, now 52 and 55, proudly watched their son. On the wall of Oliver's examination room hung that first family photo, and on his desk, a small plaque, "Every child deserves to be loved." Dr. Sterling, said Nurse Linda, they brought a 7-year-old found on the street. No family. Oliver stood up. Bring her, I'll tell her how we found family. When he saw that little girl, he recognized his own eyes. The same abandonment, the same fear, but also the same hope. Hello, Oliver said gently. I'm Dr. Sterling. You're safe. Oliver called Victoria that night. Mom, I want to tell you something. Tell me, son. A little girl came today, lives on the street, just like when I first saw you. What will you do? What you did for me. I'll find her a family. Victoria smiled. That's my son. You spread love to everyone. Oliver began caring for the little girl he named Emily. He became her guardian until he found her a good family. A year later, he introduced Emily to a wonderful couple, just like Victoria and David had found him. Dr. Sterling, Emily said when she was adopted, when I grow up, I'll help children too, like you. Oliver smiled. The circle of love continued. Victoria Sterling had turned her grief of not having children into hope for hundreds of children. David Sterling, who thought he couldn't be a father, had become the most proud father. And Oliver Sterling? That little street child was now the doctor, hope, and hero of thousands of children. Because family was built not by blood bonds, but by love bonds. This was the story of 3 wounded hearts healing each other. Victoria and David thought they had saved Oliver, but actually Oliver had saved them. And the story continued. With every child saved, every family formed, every love given. The chance encounter on a street corner had become an endless love story.